I've read a lot of manga in my time, and never have I ever come across one where you get the start of a chapter in one volume, and then have the rest of that chapter head into the next volume. That's what happened with chapter 11. We started off in volume 2, but now we're finishing off in volume 3. And chapter 11 is probably the last time in this volume. Now, don't know about volume 4 yet, haven't read it, but it's the last time in this volume that we're going to have any kind of mention of Black Ghost. But Black Ghost kind of gets mentioned here and there in the following chapters. And as we know, Cyborg 0013 is the last cyborg created by Black Ghost to hunt down the 00 numbers 1 through 9. But there's a catch with that though. 13 really didn't want to fight against them. It was more or less the fact that his hands were being tied, and if he even tried or thought about betraying Black Ghost, there was a destruction sequence already put into place. Almost as if Black Ghost knew the possibility of being betrayed again by further cyborg numbers could happen. And they made the necessary precautions that way that wouldn't happen. Now, the other thing I like about the way that Ishinomori handles such a large ensemble of characters is that he knows who to utilize and who to not utilize per various storylines, basically. Now, of course, Joe is always at the forefront, since the series is titled Cyborg 009. So, of course, he's always going to be there. Now, the other 8 cyborgs, it just all depends. And if I remember correctly, in chapter 13, we got more with Heimlich and Great Britain. In chapter, I think it was 14, we got a bit more with Jet Link, and also more with Great Britain as well. And for some reason, Great Britain decided to become a little kid. I really didn't understand the concept with that, but yeah, whatever. And still, Ishinomori takes elements of the real world, especially introducing the element of the neo-Nazis into the fray. Especially since, a lot of this has taken place, things like years after World War II, or rather in the age of the Cold War. And actually, there's a really cool panel where it looks like a swastika and kind of shows Hitler's reign of terror during that time. Oh, and speaking of reign of terror, stupid segue, I know, but whatever. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification icon, make sure that bell is ringing, and back to the review. So as we know, the remainder of chapter 11 is knowing that Dr. Kozumi was being kidnapped by 0013's gang, which included a bunch of humans that have cybernetic ligaments placed into their bodies. And probably the biggest thing to note about this miniature arc, okay, even though it's actually part of a larger arc, which is the Black Ghost arc, of course, is that we get a further explanation of just how the acceleration speeds really work. And one of those speeds is the fact that slow-moving objects don't really appear towards those that are accelerating at faster speeds. meaning that if somebody moves just slow enough, they could actually become visible to someone else that is moving at, say, like Mach 5, Mach 6, etc., etc. But if the person suddenly stops moving, they will appear as if they had been moving incredibly fast. And also another thing is that a regular human could not withstand the intense pressure of the acceleration. If, for example, Joe were to take a little girl and then accelerate, all the flesh would rip right off her body and she'd be nothing but bone. Yeah. The only thing worthwhile really to mention when it comes in regards to the neo-Nazis, like that whole chapter, is there's a character named Dr. Dolphin, and he has a daughter. Other than that, there's really nothing really to mention about it. And it sounded like Dr. Dolphin was going to show up again in the story. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Does seem like he is a very capable scientist, so could very well be that maybe he'll enhance some of the cyborgs at some later interval. But then again, I highly doubt it. It was really cool to see Great Britain, Heimlich, and Joe work together in order to find out where his location was and just to combat Nazis as well. It was really confusing though, and I don't know if it was because of the website I was using, but it felt like at the start of the chapter we got placed right into the battle, and it was like, wait, where are the rest of the cyborgs? Why is it just these three? What the hell's going on? And then it was this weird transition from like they were almost finished. Then it's like, oh, let's start from the beginning and show you how this all went about. And it took me a second to realize that, oh wait, I'm being shown what happened prior to this battle even starting. Because I, for one, thought that the three had went under some kind of like weird dream, and that they thought they were in some sort of, I don't know, school or whatever. But no, they were just chilling in Dr. Kozumi's residence. So I believe the story they're still living in Japan technically. And the last chapter of this volume is another little side adventure, I'd call it, where you have Great Britain, Jetlink, and Joe. They, well, kind of, okay, so here's a down low, all right? A bunch of children are being kidnapped from Japan, and no one knows where the fuck they're heading. They're just being kidnapped by these men who wear jetpacks. Pretty much, it's a bunch of Boba Fett fans. I know, terrible joke, whatever. I had to make it. Or maybe they're fans of The Rocketeer. Anyways, I could be wrong about this, but I believe the entire team is living in a submarine now. So they're near Japan, but they're no longer living in Japan because they feel that, you know, their presence is just going to bring more and more catastrophe for Japanese people, especially considering the fact that Cyborg 0013 caused a lot of destruction in Tokyo. Now, what's really cool about this whole entire chapter is we do get a lot with Jetlink. You know, seeing him fight and such. Great Britain, I don't know why Ishinomori used him again, especially since he had his time in the previous chapter. But the best part, though, is Ivan showing up. Now, Ivan is 001. He's the baby of the group and the Esper of the group as well. And apparently, this Esper baby needs to stay awake for 15 days and sleep for 15 days. And what's cool, too, is that the main villain of this chapter wasn't even part of Black Ghost. It was just an operative that was working by himself that just wanted to kill children, basically. But the dude was also an Esper. So instead of coming up with some like really stupid way for Joe and Great Britain and Jet Link to defeat this Esper, Ishinomori was like, you know what? I'm gonna have the baby show up, bam, in the nick of time, and the baby's gonna be the one to save the day. And Ivan came through and saved the day. And that's just how the volume ends. It ends with the all the children being saved and the faculty, and the facility being blown up to shreds. Well, I mean, blown up to smithereens. And so that ends Volume 3. Which leads to this question. What did you guys think of Volume 3 of Cyborg 009? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you would, be so kind to give this video a thumbs up. That way it's easier to find in the algorithm. I still don't understand how that damn thing works. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification icon, looks like a bell. Make sure that bell is ringing, that way you will know when I put out another video. Alright, hope you have a good one. Bye.